What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Liquidity podcast. It's been quite a while since I last posted an episode. I've been preoccupied with other commitments, so I did not have time for podcasting. But I'm thrilled to continue on with my adventure. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to our special guest. He's one of the most inspiring people I've ever encountered, and I felt that our conversations were always engaging and very inspiring. So, I thought, why not share this in my podcast? So everybody, please welcome Sunghwa Chung. Man, Sunghwa, how are you doing?
Oh, hi, this is Sunghwa. Thank you for having me here. I talked about his podcast, Mental Liquidity. I think a few weeks ago. That was our first time talking about your podcast,
Yeah, about a month
and
ago.
yeah, and ever since then, I really wanted to be his guest. I don't know, I'll be an ex inspiring guest, but I'll try my best. But thank you, Hyung, for having me. I'm very excited.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure that you spared your time to come here. So I really appreciate that, and very excited to have a nice conversation with you. So before we
Mhm.
start, Sunghwa, I just want to go over your current status. So could you like just briefly introduce yourself to the listeners on like how old you are and what status you're currently in.
Right, yeah, of course. I'm a senior at Korea University, and I am incoming summer analyst at Morgan Stanley Korea investment banking division. And if I'm lucky enough, I will be a incoming analyst next year. But that's only hope as of now. And for the past year, I've been interning at various financial firms, including local private equities and um, banking, um, the JP Morgan, and also, for the past semester, I was a president at our one of our school banking club, and that's actually when I met Bin Jeong for the second time. I think and we'll get to when we met for the first time as we progress through. But anyhow, that's when I met Bin Jeong for the second time. Yeah, and it was a valuable experience. Now I'm just chilling. I don't think I'll be returning back to school this spring. But yeah, so that's where I am. Yeah.
I think someone's being humble. He's gonna get the job for sure. I can see it for sure. All
No,
right. So,
in Korean we would say 그거 되게 큰일 날 소리.
I know
But
it's
thanks.
it's
But
in
thanks for
public,
your
so yeah, I understand your stance and your position on that comment, but I know him. I think he's gonna get it. It's my thought.
Hyung, thank you for being super supportive. I mean, sometimes I need to hear those things to boost my
100%.
morale. But yeah, really helpful.
Yeah. So we'll go deep into Songhwa's life experiences and what he's been through. But before we start, I mean, we did already start, but I want to kick off this conversation talking from the start. So, Songhwa, you said you lived overseas. You said you lived in LA. Is that right?
Yeah, I lived in LA,
Yeah. Yeah.
just the north side of LA for a year and a half, yeah.
How? So, when was it? What age were you in when you moved to LA?
I lived in LA when I was in fifth grade and sixth grade. So Korean sixth grade is fifth grade and sixth grade, they're both in elementary school. But as you know, in the States, elementary school ends at fifth grade. So I actually had the experience of going to junior high school in the States. But when I
Oh,
returned, I of course returned to my old elementary school. Yeah, but that's when I lived in the States. But it was really fun. It was really fun, even as a kid, even though I was really young. I really have some great memories there. Mostly because I was kind of free from this like competitive Korean education system where you have to go to Hagwon and Hagwon.
mhm.
Yeah, that was the best thing of of going to the States. And besides that, I really liked touring. I live near LA, and we have ton of time. So my mom and my brother would always travel to nearby cities. One of my greatest memory was actually going, and I actually recommend you and all of the listeners to try this if you have some time. One of my best travel experiences, was when I traveled from LA to San Francisco by car, by taking the coastal road area.
Oh, the road trip.
Yeah, the road trip, and it
Happy
was
Valley
great.
Coast.
Yeah, it was really great. We went to like we stopped by small cities. Yeah, it was really great. So if you guys have time, I really recommend that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's really interesting. So you were in Korean elementary school, and then you went to an American junior high, and then you came back to elementary school.
Right,
Right.
right.
That's a very interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that mix up kind of happened because of the different school system between the States and Korea. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Because I lived overseas too, and I was in the States during my third grade to sixth grade. And in
Hmm.
my state, sixth grade was in elementary school. So I never had time to experience junior high.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 'Cause I lived
So,
in Indiana. In Indiana,
oh, okay.
the junior high was only seventh to eighth grade. So only 2 years in junior high.
Oh, okay. So 2 years in junior high and high school is 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years in high school.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
So I
Wow,
was
okay.
kind of, well, I want to say disappointed, but you know, I wished I had experienced junior high because I think elementary and junior high is a way different, uh, I guess, background because, you know, in elementary school, you're still like a kid. The teachers
Right,
treat you
right.
like a kid, but when you go to junior high, a lot of um, Americans are pure friends go over the puberty and they become
Mm-hmm.
more,
Yeah.
I guess, bigger and
Yeah, yeah.
more wild. So, I kind of envy the experience of you of your junior high experience. So, how was it? How like what do you remember the most in during school?
Well, yeah, I think you're right because the typical high teen, American drama where you see like people in junior high and high school, things like prom and school party, those things all happen um, at junior high or above, right?
Mhm.
So in elementary school, there's nothing like that.
Yeah,
Junior high is when you start to move around from classes and kind of hang out with
yeah, I
your
know. Yeah.
friends. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So it was really different experience, I guess. But um, I in the States, um I guess um I guess I didn't really have many friends back in the States because mostly because I was a maybe because didn't speak that fluent English. I wasn't really able to like, I mean, I did speak English, but I guess I wasn't really able to like really bond with them on a like a deeper level. But I did have some friends who really got me, non-Korean friends. And what I really liked in the States was that I was able to hang out with them on a very, I don't know, like doing very like a lot of activities. For example, in Korea, you usually don't go camping with your friends because
Hmm. You don't
camping in
really.
and of itself is
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. Camping in and of itself is a very like rare experience. Or you really don't go to like a coastal area with your friends, mostly
Hmm.
because you don't have time or because it's
Hmm.
really far away. But in the States, one of the best things with what were that you were able to go to like nature. You can explore nature anywhere. or, uh, Um, so I think that was like one of the best experiences, being able to hang out with your friends at a like a different scene. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think that was really fun. So I did go a lot of camping with my friends. Also, we hung out at the beach many times because it was only like a 30-minute drive. Yeah, yeah. So that was really fun. So when I returned to Korea, it was really boring that I couldn't, go hiking or, going to the beach was became
Yeah,
like such a rare experience all of a sudden. Yeah, so
it's all the same.
that was a bummer.
Hagwon
Yeah,
school,
yeah, yeah,
the boring the treadwheel stuff.
yeah, yeah.
How good was your English then?
I think right now I speak better English, um, because mostly because I mean I I was proficient, I was fluent in like conversational English when I was in the States. But I think I got better when I returned to Korea because after returning, I attended a Daewon International Middle School, and that's when I actually met Min Jeong
And
for
we're
the
gonna
first
go into
time.
that soon.
Yeah, yeah. Min Jeong was Min Jeong was a year older than me, so that's when we met for the first time. But at Daewon, there was this back then there was the English debate was a huge thing. So every summer vacation, me and my friends and my 학원 buddies would, participate in this English debating competition. And as seasons go by, and as like you immerse yourself in like hundreds of hours of English debating, I think you get better at speaking, especially speaking English. Um, so I think like a lot of, I mean that experience, being able to participate in that competitive English debate, I think that experience kind of enhanced my English overall. Yeah, so I think now I speak better English than I did when I was in fifth grade. Most definitely, yeah.
I'm really curious on like your motivation on doing the English debate because, to be honest, I had a lot of chance during my middle school. I had a lot of opportunities to engage myself in the debate community, but to be frank, I didn't like it. I felt forced, and
Mhm.
like I told myself into thinking that, why do we have to fight? We could make we can reconcile and have like a consensus to make an agreement. So I kind of talked myself out of it, but I was curious. I want to ask you, like, what was your motivation? Did you actually like it, or were you forced by, I guess, different pressures or your parents in any way?
Well, I guess I can't say I was motivated in the beginning, because everyone's kind of forced into new experiences, and the initial motivation was that you know English debate can play a big role when you go to college. I mean, that was like the initial motivation. And I did actually go to Korea University as a 국제인재, which is what people call 특기자, right? So, and English debate experiences did help me to prepare for like awards that I actually used when I applied here for 특기자. So that was like the initial motivation. But you know, I, and of course, I'll get to your point on like why do you have to fight? And I think there is a point in fighting because I think the fighting in and of itself is not the objective. I think the objective is that through fighting, of course, through arguing, I think we can come to a different conclusion. And I think that like this new conclusion and innovative conclusion can uh, I think we can reach that conclusion through argument, and I think arguing is one of the best way to reach a to kind of like best way for reaching a better solution
Mm. I guess
because
it's a new conversation and like
right because
kind of converges into a new idea and other insights and solutions.
right because you kind of like push the logic to the extreme, and then you find that oh maybe that's not the answer, or maybe you kind of persuade the other side that that is the answer, and if it, and you, but that happens to you at the same time. You get convinced, so you and your opponent can come up with a better idea. And of course, English debate, it's structured so that you only have to argue. You can only argue one side.
It is, yeah,
Um,
it is.
but at the end of the day, you kind of like you're kind of convinced that the other person might be right also, and then you kind of reach a different conclusion. And one of the limitations of an English debate is that you can't actually there is no chance for you to express that. Oh, I think you're right. Oh, I think I reached a different
That
conclusion.
means you admit your loss if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say
right,
that
right, right.
in the debate.
Yeah, I think that's like the limitation of Asian parliamentary debate or British parliamentary debate if you did debate. Um, but yeah, I think that's one of the limitations. But I think there is a value in debating in that you can kind of stimulate your um, intellect so that you can reach a better conclusion or come up with a better idea through arguing. And I think it's a great exercise. but I don't think it's a great lifestyle. I think that's how I want to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, like in hindsight, I kind of regret that I didn't participate that much in debate because I totally agree with what you say. I acknowledge the values of the debating and the knowledges and the skills you accumulate, and like I kind of wish somebody like my friends, my parents could have pushed me more and forced me into doing debate. But at a young age, I was immature and I just wanted to just play basketball and like think myself into saying, yeah, why do we fight and stuff like that. But yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with it. And listening to your debate story, I just thought of a very funny episode. And I remember I actually liked debating before I
Mhm.
went to middle school. And then there was this one incident that kind of demoralized me and like made me hate debating. And I want to hear your opinion on this, but this episode it's very interesting. I was in this debate competition, and you know how there are debate competitions where the teams are impromptu like it's not a team that you form together. You just they form the team at the spot, and you have to um, like you have to make your thesis, and you have like preparation time with the people you just met. So I was in
Mhm.
that kind of competition, and I remember our team was bad. We didn't have any like lead star players, and we didn't help each other. And I remember I was like the third speaker, and I was talking and going through my arguments, and I got a POI. And the other team was asked me something, and I stuttered because I didn't know what to say. I remember what he said, but it was a very sharp comment. And my teammate next to me whispered to me, and she said, "Just say the reality has changed." Like, she
Wait,
just told
so
me to say that, and then I said, "The reality has changed." And then I got like four POIs after that. So after the experience, I kind of like I don't know. It was at a young age, as a young man, that was a very a influential experience that made me into disliking debate. So yeah,
wait, so did the other teammate actually tell you to lie? Was that like a lie, or was
I
it
don't know,
like
but it
a
wasn't a lie. It was
superficial?
I think it was like I don't know, like I'm not sure what her intention was. I'm not sure if it
Mhm.
was um, to actually help me or do the opposite. But in the end, it got me four POIs, so it was a very good experience.
I mean, I think I don't know, like um so if I were to like reverse engineer your experience, I think I guess the POI was about like a like oh no, the statistics different. If you look at the statistics, what you're saying is wrong. Maybe that was the POI.
I think it was that in that context.
Yeah, right. And then I think I think, oh, and of course, you don't have like a counter statistics or counter intel to counter that statistics, and this happens a lot during debate. Like people throw statistics, and I don't know what to say, and sometimes statistics are wrong. So and I think I had that experience, similar experience as you. Once when I was debating, um, my opponent said, "Oh no, well, if you look at the statistics A, what you're saying is wrong." But my teammate said, "No, no. If you look at statistic B, what you're saying is wrong, and what we're saying is right." And no one knew what the real statistics, and which statistics were true, and even the adjudicator didn't know. So what adjudicator decided to do, and this happens a lot during debate, is that if you push the statistics consistently and robustly, that statistics get accepted. For example, let's say we pushed um, we let's say we argued that statistics B was right throughout all three speakers, and the opponent counter the statistics with, let's say, statistics A, and ours were statistics B. And if that counter only happens, um, throughout one speaker, then statistics B trumps statistics A because it was said more, it was argued more. And the adjudicator didn't even bother to look it up, and that's how adjudicator kind of made the decision in that case. And I think that's also one of the biggest limitations of English debate is that when you debate, you don't know what you're saying, especially if elementary school students debate, especially when like middle school students or high school students debate. Like you don't know what the facts are, right? I mean, we're not experts on all fields. Like, for example, like abortion. Like, I mean, we don't know all statistics about abortion, which is a classic, English debate debate topic. So, I mean, that happens a lot, and I really like sympathize with what you said. Um, and many times you need to just like kind of like um give like a very superficial answer. Oh, the reality has changed, but you actually don't know what you're saying. I think that happened to me a lot. So, yeah, but the reason why I kind of like power through my English debate experience was because I think, um, even with those kind of big limitations, I think that was a value. But mostly, and I think I didn't mention it before, but at that time I really liked arguing.
Mhm.
The activity of verbal argue was very fun. Um, I'm,
Did you
I'm, I'm,
like
I'm, I'm a,
did you like arguing or did you like winning the argument?
oh, I mean, of course, if you argue, the ultimate goal is to win, and if you
Yeah.
win, it's much more fun. But arguing was very fun. Maybe because I was going through puberty and I was kind of like rebellious, but I don't know.
Your
But
rebellious phase.
yeah, actually, I stopped debating when I was in high school and kind of transitioned to MUN, which is a abbreviation for Mall United Nations, because in MUN you can really kind of like reconcile and merge ideas and form new ideas, and make political alliances. And I think that experience, those kind of like forming alliances and compromising, I think those were more comprehensive and kind of true to reality. So I think kind of that's one of the reasons why I transitioned to doing more MUN activities than participating in English debate.
Great. So we have a fan. We have a number one fan in this podcast, and he's our mutual. Actually, he's not a number one fan. He's actually the only listener of this podcast, and his name is J.K. Kim. You know J.K. right? Kim Jong Kook.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
그,
yeah.
yeah,
So
JK 선배님
yeah,
아니십니까?
yeah. So we always have. I always allocate this time, some time to shout out to my only listener.
hmm
So in line with your experiences in debating, did you ever face Jungkook in a debate competition?
Yeah, I clearly remember it was a nightmare for me.
Oh, it was
That
a
he,
nightmare. Wait, you got
yeah,
crushed?
Jungkook,
What happened? What
yeah,
happened? What happened?
Jungkook 형 obliterated my team. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, maybe I, I don't know if I beat him or he beat me. Oh, the memory's kind of blurred here.
Wait, but you did face each other, right? That's for a
Yeah,
fact.
yeah,
For a
yeah.
fact.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, yeah. His team beat our team. So yeah, yeah. His team obliterated me. It was a nightmare. But we didn't even expect to win because Jungkook Young at that time was a like really popular debater. Um, I mean, of course, only popular within our 학원. Um, Yeah, Sunghwa Chung was really good. He was a senior, and I think we were only in our second year in middle school. And he was much more experienced debater. His team was actually a A team um, at that time in our 학원. as well as the like a middle school debating scene. Yeah, I yeah, yeah. So that's we in our hagwon, even before like English debate competition, even before when we met in English debate competition, we call this sparring, like how you spar with your like a boxing opponent, right? Like as a
Like a mock
practice.
rehearsal or mock
Yeah,
match in a hot
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We also call that sparring. We did a couple sparrings, and that time our team learned a lot. And I think I think from Jungkook Young's perspective, sparring with us may well, I mean, wasn't really helpful because we didn't have much to offer.
It was like a
Like
warm up
as
for them. Like
yeah, it was like a moral boost. Here, beat this guy up.
that's
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean,
It's
oh, yeah, I want to see Jungkook Young. I don't think I ever, met him after middle school, but if I have the chance, so yeah, I mean, I would love to, have a drink with Jungkook Young one time. Yeah.
I mean, Jungkook is the first guest of this podcast, right?
Oh, really? I only
Yeah.
listen. I mean, I listened to several of your podcasts, but I didn't think I listened to Jungkook Young's podcast.
Episode one
Um,
is it's he changed his English name when he went overseas for his masters. He changed it to Remy.
Remy,
So yeah, so Remy Kim is Jungkook.
Remy.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
I don't
like
think I.
I'm gonna we're gonna have a gathering with all my guests soon. So you'll have a chance to meet him in the near
Yeah, I
future.
don't think I ever like I don't think I ever seen his name on your podcast list.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I didn't find him. I only listened to so Cheo was my first episode of Mental
Too. Hmm.
Liquidity.
Hmm.
Yeah. Where I listened all the way because Cheo's also my friend
Appreciate it, man.
and
Appreciate it.
yeah, no. I mean, yeah, it was really fun. I actually learned a lot about Cheo through this podcast.
Yeah. And the listeners will learn a lot about you too from this podcast because like miss this flow. Like you actually forget what you say, but you talk really deep. You really talk about the deep things that you don't really say aloud in your normal life. So you get to know more about yourself, and the listeners will know more about you too.
Yeah, yeah, I think I felt the same way by listening to Joe's podcast, and I mean I wish I can offer the same for the listeners as Joe and all the other guests did. Yeah,
You're doing great.
yeah. So far it's great. So
Yeah,
far it's fun. I didn't expect that this would be this much fun, but it's really fun.
it is. We already talked almost 30 minutes, and we
Yeah,
didn't even get into university. We're still in
yeah. We didn't
high
even get
school.
into like banking club and universities.
Yeah, that's the main highlight of your life, right?
Yeah,
All right. So moving on. Uh, so your major is international studies in Korean
hmm
University. Um, just a quick question: why international studies? Didn't you have any other options of maybe business or economics? Or why
yeah.
international studies?
As I transitioned to focusing on MUN activities, like MUN activities, it's so to give you like a brief background, MUN is a model United Nations and like the participants, people like us.
Wait, it's a
Um,
model. It's not mock.
no, it's
Oh,
model
it
United
stands for
Nations.
model.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I
very
mean, if you're
enlightening to
talking about
hear. I mean, I thought it was
mock
mock.
trial, it's a mock trial, but for UN, it's model United Nations.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, so at MUN, you actually like talk about real UN
agendas.
discussion topics. Yeah, agendas, what you call agendas. And these agendas, they range from like water problems or territorial disputes or like legal frameworks in international organizations. And I think and I kind of had fun talking about these topics and studying these topics regarding like world problems or world politics or world economics. And I think that's what convinced me to go to 국제학부, international studies. Um, but I was never serious in getting a job in like UN or in Ministry of Foreign Affairs because I really didn't. Yeah, I mean the activity and the study was fun, but I didn't think it. I mean it wasn't convincing enough for me to like get a job there. Um, I I think finance was more intriguing even back then. But from strategic point of view, like from like strategic point of view into getting into college, I think going to international studies made more sense because I can convince the people in the university saying that I did all these activities and it was really fun. So I want to delve deeper into these topics, and I think um, international studies at KU offer these opportunities, right? So I think that narrative was more convincing, and I think that's one of the reasons why I applied for international studies. But of course, I immediately did a double major at a business school so that I can hack into finance. I mean, of course, you don't need like a business degree to hack into finance, but I think it was a more transitional move towards finance. Yeah, so that's why I applied to DIS, Division of International Studies, and of course it was less competitive to to go to DIS than business school in Korea University, so that also played a role.
Then this might sound cheesy, but why finance?
Why finance?
But
Why finance?
I
Right. So
want, I want, I want to hear like a real answer. Not like
I'll,
you,
I'll I'll give you a
not
real
like the interview
answer.
mode. Like, I mean, I know you have to be kind of cautious because you're not really a official full time yet, but maybe
Hmm.
on like the gray level of your genuine reason and the
Hmm.
reason that you actually tell other people, maybe right in between. Do you have any answer for that?
Right. Like I will kind of take you through like um my no, never mind. So this is how I got into finance. So when I was in military, I was really concerned about my future. Like, oh, like what am I gonna do for a living? Like, like how am I gonna make this money that I need to, power through life? So I kind of did some study, and I realized that there were three types of income: labor income, financial income, and business income. Like when you do a business,
Wait. Go through that again. So labor,
labor, finance, like
finance,
these are
investing,
like stocks, yeah, investing,
investing,
right?
income from
Stock,
investing.
crypto, right, right. Income from investing, and there is a business. Like if you do a business, if you're like if you run a business,
Okay, I get
right?
it.
So there, right.
Three
So
types.
there's three types.
Hmm.
But if I work, I can there's the labor income,
Hmm.
but I need to give up business income because if I work for someone, I don't. It's not me doing my own business.
Hmm.
So it's either going to be business income or financial income, or labor income or financial income. So these two combinations were the only available combinations, right?
Yeah,
Right? Labor finance or business finance.
because business and labor is they're mutually exclusive. You can't
Yeah,
do
they're
that.
mutually right.
Mm-hmm.
But I always thought of myself as I didn't think of myself as a entrepreneur. I wasn't interested in like doing a startup. Of course, I'm interested in doing, my own business when I get older and become more experienced, but not right now. So I thought, okay, I think I'll go with labor income and finance income. So what should I do right now? So this was back when I was in the military, when I had a ton of time at Katusa. So what should I do right now in order for me to master skills that's going to be both used to earn labor income and
Financial income.
financial income. And because I was always interested in going into banking or into financial career, I thought studying CFA or I mean back then it could have been anything, like it could have been CPA or CFA. I mean studying these financial what do you call certificates what was the optimal option back then, right? So as I studied those these and as I studied through for these certificates, I think it was easier for me to go to apply for like banking clubs in Korea University or internships at financial institutions. And I think because I yeah, I mean that's that. I mean naturally I started since then I kind of followed um, a more I kind of followed the path that made more sense to me. And I think I kind of naturally kind of like um,
I mean, you went
you
with the
know
flow.
I went with the flow, but like the initiative of going with the flow, the genesis of everything was the mindset of okay, I'm gonna do something that's gonna help me earn
Both incomes, the two incomes
both
that
incomes,
you
right?
you
Which
pursue.
yeah, which is financial studies,
Mm-hmm,
things that you learn in CFA.
hmm.
So starting from CFA, because I passed CFA level two, it made very much sense for me to apply for IFRA, which is Korea University Banking Club. And if you go to IFRA, like everyone does banking, you kind of get convinced that oh, I should do banking also.
I think you're
And
waiting for them.
yeah,
Your
yeah, I mean,
career is already determined. It's
yeah, I mean,
only
Minjung, you would know this too, and if people from IFRA are listening to this, they'll all kind of nod their head. Yeah, if you go to IFRA, everyone's doing banking, so oh, maybe I should do banking too. It's really and oh, and it's very persuasive because if you look at the seniors, like I mean, Youngmin Hyung or Useok Young or Hyunmin Young, which are my biggest inspirations, they're really like persuasive, they're really cool. They're really like motivational. So you get persuaded into banking. So I think that's why I decided to pursue my career at banking. But of course, if you go to interview, you don't say that, right? Oh, I want, but this is my true story. Starting from CFA, I did things that made a lot of sense to me. Getting into banking club, finding your career at investment banking. Um, yeah, I mean, there's this one Hyung who also introduced me to IFRA. Um, he's actually working for like a domestic financial institutions, and he graduated from Risk, which is also a famous like a investment club in Korea University Business Club, business
Korean
school.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we got close during a Spanish class. And
Spanish.
yeah, yeah, it was really random.
You listen to
It was really
you learn
random.
Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, there was this one time where I tried to study Spanish because I didn't think Chinese was my thing. Um, so I
What's the thing?
no, I didn't think Chinese was my thing because it was so hard. The characters, you need to memorize everything. But but anyhow, going back to the
Yeah,
story,
yeah.
it was just a really random you know, encounter, this guy in Spanish class, and we got close together. And he knew I spoke, okay English, so he actually recommended me to go to IFRA. And this was even before military. And he would take my hand, he would go to like IFRA 설명회, and then he would sit down there for 2 to 3 hours, even though he's almost graduating, right, with me, to kind of convince me and persuade me to go to this banking club that I didn't even know back then. And that kind of like planted my desire to one day to join IFRA. Um, not back then, but at least before I graduate.
Wait, but that Hyung that took your
Yeah,
hand
that young.
to 설명해, he wasn't Ifra.
No,
He
he
was
wasn't
Risk.
Ifra. He was Risk.
Then
He was a.
why was he doing that graceful thing for you? What
I
was
mean,
his?
I don't know. I still don't know, and I think and really thank him for that. Looking
I
back,
mean, yeah,
he was.
that's a privilege. Like having someone push you and guide you into a career at a young age. That's a very yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he just told me, "Hey, Sunghwa, go to Ifra," maybe I wouldn't have tried. But but I only tried hard because I think I was also convinced that Ifra may be a good opportunity. But only because I went to that 설명회 and that Hyung kind of sat me through that 설명회 for 2 to 3 hours. I mean, he didn't have he there's nothing for him to gain throughout that 설명회 because back then
Basically zero. He was almost into his graduation,
yeah,
and he was there only for you, right?
he was there only for me.
So would it be reasonable to suspect a different kind of dynamic in that relationship?
Oh shit. Wait.
Just
Yeah, oh, so maybe there was some romantic initiative.
maybe I mean it's that much
Mm,
I guess lucky, really lucky for you to have that
yeah, yeah, but
experience
I
and
don't think
guidance.
I know you're trying to pull your feet out from that joke, but but commenting on that joke, I don't think that it would have been true because he actually dated my friend, my female friend.
Wait, he was what?
He dated my female,
Okay, okay.
여사친, female friend.
Okay.
And
Understood.
I kind of edited the story. The reason why he and I got close was because my friend, who's a female, took that Spanish class with me,
Oh, and they were dating each other, so you
and
guys.
and they started dating each other.
Oh, okay.
And then I got close, and then they broke up, and Hyung and I got closer,
Oh,
and now,
okay.
yeah,
Perfectly understood.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, it was a now it's a bromance. Now it's a bromance, but he's definitely straight. Yeah.
That's fun. So, I want to ask you. So you said your genesis of your financial career started from your configuration of the like the thought that you want to achieve two incomes, labor and financial income, and studying financial studies would take care of both of those options. But so you're now into your well, you're not, I guess, almost into maturity of your well, you're not in maturity, but anyway, you've been in this field for quite a long time. And how much correlation do you think is there between your studies and your knowledge that you learned in finance with the financial income that you want to pursue in the future?
And I know that you're only asking this question because you know the correlation's
No,
not
no,
good.
no. I really want to listen to your honest opinion because, like,
No, I mean,
people might have different thoughts.
right. If you're talking about CFA, I think everything helps because CFA touches upon like like crucial things, um, very basic things at a very broad level. You not only study about like um, you know corporate finance, you also study about like economics or bond or derivatives. You even study like ethics. There's this ethics subject. Yeah, what you should do what you should do as a participant in the financial market.
That's
What yeah, what you should do what you should do as like a like a brokerage services. What you should do as like an asset
oh,
manager. So these kind of things. You also learn from CFA. So, of course, it helps. Of course, it helps. Everything helps. But in order to be a good investor, I think it's a totally different story. You need to hone your investment skills. You need to develop your investment knowledge, very meticulously. Um, um, so it's a different story
It is.
between being a good investor and just studying CFA. I mean, studying CFA is just beginning of everything. And if I'm talking about banking, I don't think I've never seen a good investor as a good banker. I mean, in banking, no one's interested in, I mean, of course, I shouldn't say no one, but I don't think there are not a lot of people who are interested in like actual investment in stocks. We're more interested in deals, like M&A deals.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
different field of it's I mean their jobs are different, obviously.
yeah,
Investors
the
and
focus
bankers,
is,
they have different roles in the
yeah,
capital market, so I think it's very natural for them to have
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, knowledge, you know, knowledge that you need as a banker, and analyzing, corporates, analyzing the market, doing financial analyses. I mean, these also help, but I think that's also a different story from being a good investor. I don't know what it takes to be a good investor because I myself is not a good investor. And although I'm not a banker yet, I don't think what you do in banking doesn't necessarily make you a good investor. I didn't know this back then, when I was in the military, when I was, contemplating what I should do to be able to earn financial income and labor income. But back then, I didn't even think of me being a banker. So, yeah, I mean, coming back to your question, I don't think it helps, but it's a very different thing.
No, if I could introduce my take on
Yeah, what
this
do you think?
this theme, this case.
Mm,
So I was very curious about investing, and I recently completed an internship at a private equity, and I've asked a lot about investing with my to my investment professionals, my seniors,
mm,
and one thing in common was that investing is luck, but it is luck, but there is a skill, and that skill is, I think, what you mentioned, the basic, the analysis, and the understanding the fundamentals of a company. And there are a lot of skills, like maybe like doing those rigorous due diligences, all these things to find the best investment opportunities and make the best decisions. Those are skills, but
mm,
that skill does not quite 100% correlate with the output of
mm.
great income and more return rates. So I don't know. It's not really a definitive answer, but um, so it's basically, it is luck, but in order for you to reap the fruits, reap the
Mm,
rewards, and be lucky, you have to have the basics, the fundamentals of what you just talked about.
mm.
So I think that's my conclusion into what investing is.
Oh, okay. So okay, so what you're saying is you need the skills, but having a great return in that, luck plays great role also.
Hmm, hmm.
Oh, okay. I think what I was trying to say was more focused on that I think the views are different.
What do you mean?
Um
What do you mean the views?
so like I heard Yong Song, and he also transitioned to from doing internship at private equity, and then doing internship at a research organization, and finally getting a job there.
Shout out to Yongzong.
Yeah, shout out to Yongsong. Um, and he told me that the views are very different. Like, for example, as a uh, when you're making a investment memorandum as a banker, you talk about like how the industry is booming or how the companies has a competitive edge over, other players, uh, or maybe the technology is growing and but so when you say those things to like a people who do equity research, they say, so what? What they mean by saying so what, I think was that, I mean, we already know that. What's new? Like what's recent? So I
Oh.
think what people in equity research or people who are investing in stocks, I think they're looking for a more granular and more recent trends. I mean, of course,
Mm.
mega trends and mega themes are also important, which is what we focus on when we're writing investment highlights for a company. But I think people who do investments, they're more interested in, oh, you know, Lotte is selling their land, so they have excess cash of, I don't know, like, 1 billion Korean won. So, this may, boost up the stock price. I think these kind of issues, more granular and more recent issues, are more important to equity investors than people who work in banking because, bankers don't care about whether or not Lutetier I mean, bankers do care, but it's not a investment highlight material type of conversation, right? So, yeah, so I think that's like the key difference between like investing and making a investment memorandum as a banker. So I think the focus is kind of different. The investors definitely do look at more granular and recent activities. Yeah.
I think you made a great point on the different views of the different
Hmm.
principles in the in this investment scene.
Hmm.
Because what I also realize is that there are a lot of different investors. There are like traditional buyout fund investors. There are the equity stock investors I just mentioned, and I think my take was kind of formed based on um, the investors of growth equity funds because I was at a growth equity fund. So it kind of has like an overarching theme, but at the same time, the specifics are quite different because in growth equity, like maybe the recent the granular your the informations are important, but what's more important is having the basic skills and understanding what the mega theme is. So it's same, but kind of it has a different taste to it at the same time
Hmm.
in terms of the in what asset you actually invest in.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that's a very interesting topic
Hmm. Yeah.
to go over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean, if you ask me if I'm a good investor, definitely no. And one of my objective throughout the 2024 one half is being a good investor. I have some time before I join my new firm as a summer analyst. So before that, I will definitely study stocks, definitely set up my account and my portfolio because I can't do anything once I start working there. So I'll definitely set up my portfolio before I join the firm. Yeah. So now I have some time and chance to become a good investor.
wait, don't you have to dispose all your stocks when you start working in investment banking?
I don't know if that's the case. It's either that or I can't buy or sell additional
Oh,
stocks.
so you can retain your prior portfolio, but you can't make any additional changes. Is that the
I don't know. I don't know if that's, I mean if that's the actual case, but I don't know from like commonsensical point of view, like what I bought in and what I sold was had nothing to do with
Oh,
like
okay, okay. I
the
was just
firm. So I
curious.
guess yeah, so I guess like commonsensically you can still retain what you have as in your portfolio, and I hope that's the case.
Great. So, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years, I see myself
2034.
34. I see myself doing a additional podcast series with Min Kim.
Oh yes, Hell yes.
Yeah, maybe then I'll have my own podcast. I don't know. But maybe you'll have a TV show.
We never know.
Yeah, you never know.
We might be the most famous podcast Korean American podcasters
Yeah.
in the world. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, yeah, podcasts definitely, I mean, I'll definitely still, be friends. We'll definitely still be friends and 형, 동생. Um, what professionally in 10 years, I don't know. Uh, I always thought in 10 years, I would still be working in investment banking division. Um, and even if I don't get a job right now, or maybe a year from now, I think I'll still try to be a banker at an investment banking division. So, yeah, I will start my career there. But I always thought that I would, I would retain my status as a banker for 10 plus years
Mm,
because I really wanted to like master the M&A deals. And I think if I go to a private equity too soon, I kind of lose the chance to encounter, diverse deals. I don't get to study like many deals. I don't get to experience many deals. Like as an advisor, you encounter, I don't know, 10, dozens of deals a year.
10 plus.
Yeah, dozen plus. But as a PE man, you only get to do your deal, which is not too many compared to people at advisory, right? So I thought I would stay at banking long enough for me to, kind of master um, the M&A transaction. But recently, I've been getting advices that if your ultimate goal is to go to private equity, it's better to go to private equity during your junior years, like in your second year or your third
Mm.
year.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Yeah, I mean, um, yeah, but I've been only listening to these advices, getting these advices recently, so I don't know what the reality is, but I think everyone's got a point. So in 10 years, for now, I don't know. I would either be still be working at investment banking division or be a PE man. Doing my own investing, and of course using other people's money, LP's money.
How about I guess your ultimate goal or like your ideal view of how your life should turn out?
Mhm. Um, I think there's like a bull bear case for that.
A born banker.
A bull bull bear case. Bull cases. Bull cases. Having my own deals. I wouldn't say that. I mean, the reason why I said that having my own deals is because, running my own deals can take form in me as a owner of my own PE firm, or I can be like a star manager, managing director at a big global PE firm. So either way's fine. I just want to be able to run and source and execute my own deals. I think I wish to achieve that level um, at one point in my career where I source and execute multiple deals, and I have team of bankers or uh, um, juniors and seniors um, working on the same deal. Um, because I don't know I'm very interested in deals, like doing M&A deals. Um, so like as I don't care if I do that as like a CEO of my own PE firm or manager at a different firm. Um, I used to say I want to run my own PE firm, but I don't think my end goal doesn't necessarily have to be constrained to me being a
Mhm.
top manager at my own firm. So yeah, right now I say that I want to manage multiple deals, be able to source them, execute them, close them. I think that's what I want to do. Um, 20 years ahead. And of course, I want to have like a loving family, you know, healthy
It
life.
sounded kind of awkward. Like you were talking like almost like 10 minutes about your career. You kind of added this little
No,
slice
because
of your family part.
it's not like a like cherry on top of sundae. I really do mean that because like if I don't know what your guests have been saying, but if you ask typically like normally if you ask people, okay, where do you self in 10 years? They mostly talk about their careers, right?
Of
Oh, I
course.
wanted to be this and that. But I really think that career is not everything. I think like let's say you're a, managing director at KKR and if you're sick and you don't have many years to live, then you lose. I mean, I don't think I mean, I don't think that's a good life, right? So, I think being healthy and having a loving family is also important. It's
Absolutely.
yeah,
Mhm. So are you driven or are you dragged?
I'm dragged by myself.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Yeah,
Wait, but how is that different from being driven? Oh, this
I'm
is
not
deep.
sure.
This is deep. This question is deep.
Yeah,
I just realized like it's a hard
I,
question.
I mean, I'm not doing wordplay. I genuinely feel like I'm being dragged by myself because I mean, I don't feel this kind of like this burning desire inside me. Oh, I want to do this. I want to conquer this. I want to conquer that. No, I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, I need to do this.
Mm.
I need to do this.
Is it like
It,
living up to the expectations that you put yourself and maybe others put inside you?
I think a lot of people influence my expectations, and right now I'm also kind of confused as to if my expectations and what I believe is right, or the things that I believe is right is genuinely from me or kind of like put in by other people. I mean, of course, everyone's influenced by someone or somebody or even society, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
oh, you need to get married. Oh, and you need to make six-figure salary or five-figure salary, right? These kind of expectations, of course, at some point of your life, someone influenced you to believe in that, right? Um, and of course, my desires and my expectations are also combinations of, what I genuinely think is right and what people made me think it's right. Or maybe it's a culture aspect. Korean society made me think that doing this is right or doing this is wrong, right? Everything's a combination, and because I think it's a combination, I don't think I'm driven, but I'm dragged by myself.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if maybe the viewers think of may the viewers may think of me expressing this way. Maybe it's a wordplay, but I don't know.
No, I don't think
Um,
it's wordplay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
completely I can sympathize with you on that. Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to say that I'm driven by me because at one point of your life you're influenced by someone or somebody. So
hmm
I think I would say I'm dragged by myself. Um,
I kind of I relate to that because sometimes I think to myself like why do I work so hard? Like why do I want to be great? Like why do I want to excel? And I look into my deep thoughts and I sometimes think that maybe this is like how do you say it? Like it's not me. Like I just want to win the race, you know? Like
mhm.
it's not about finding what I truly want. It's just that I don't want to be mediocre. I want to be in that the front herd. What do you call it? The leading group.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
the
that
leaders.
I think that's kind of my motivation, and I really like during my rumination of these thoughts, like I question myself: is this right? Is this healthy? But at the end of the day, it actually does, um, you pursue and achieve, I guess, the financial the benefits. So it's not a bad one, but is it truly what I want? So I'm really dubious on my attitude toward my life, and that's why I can completely relate to that of what you said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also very competitive and I want to win. So I think I use that as a motivation and kind of like fuel for me to be able to power through the situation. Um, yeah, but I also think that I also have the same dilemma. Like, why am I being so competitive here? I mean, of course, I like doing investment banking work, and I need this job. But I think I'm also competitive in the things that I really don't need to be competitive. For example, I mean, I don't know if there's a proper example, but you get what I'm saying. Like, being competitive is a good source of motivation, but at the same time, something that you need to kind of like let go at one point of your life in order to be like truly happy. But I think I don't think I will be letting go of that because I think it kind of like you said, it allows me to achieve what I want. Um, I think it's a great source of fuel, at least when you're in your 20s or 30s.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I also have that dilemma.
It's
But
hard.
but
It's a
yeah, but
tough one.
circling, but I think the previous two questions that you asked, like what drives me, or like are you driven or are you dragged? I think you were asking me about like what my true motivation is. Um, and I think and combining what I said, I think my parents' influence was very played a very big role here. Um, like a meme in YouTube, like in I don't know if you watch the Stephen He channel, uh, the emotional damage guy.
No, not familiar. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay. So like Stephen He does this like a funny imitation of this stereotypical Asian parents scolding their Asian kids, saying, "Oh, back in my days, I used to walk 20 miles to school.
Mhm.
Uh, I used to walk 20 miles to school on the one foot, while the other foot was doing business." So this kind of like thing. And my parent, and especially my mom, she actually walked 20 miles to school. She actually lived that kind of life, oh, your cousin in China, Timmy, studied algebra, on the back of a milk carton, that kind of joke. That those jokes actually apply to my parents. So especially my mother's side. So my mother grew up really poor, and and I know all her struggles during her child and my grandpa my grandparents didn't even want to let my mother go to high school because she's a female, and back then of course girls don't need to go to high schools or colleges. Back then that was like the norm, I guess. So my mom fought her way to high school, and she got a job at Seoul, right? The capital city of Korea. And I think like listening to her stories, listening to her struggles, I think that really motivated me a lot. If my mom dragged her family out of poverty, and I think it's only natural for me to put my family at a different um class. I think it's
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's like a historical narrative. Like it's only natural for me to kind of like do the same thing, offer the same kind of progress to my next generation. Ask my mom, allow me to kind of like have whatever I want, or study whatever I want. I think it's only natural for me to offer the same thing to my child as well. I think it's kind of like a family narrative that I just said. I think That's a narrative that I live by and kind of convince myself.
Mhm. I think you're actually passing the story. You want to
Yeah,
continue on that family story and that history to your children and the children of your children. I think.
yeah. I mean, um, yeah, I think that's great. And that's why I'm really inspired by my parents, especially my mom, who went through all that struggle, but still turned out to be um, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's my motivation, just that narrative, plus her like legendary success stories. I want to like kind of replicate in my own environment. Yeah, so I think that's my motivation.
Yeah, and that's a very mature and very motivational thought. And I was inspired just right now. I think I've heard this story before, but
Yeah, yeah, I think
listening to it again, it kind of resonates in a different style. So thanks for sharing that story.
yeah,
I
no, no,
really,
no. Yeah,
really
no, 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 of course, of course. Yeah, but that was very yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my motivation. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So Soma, we're almost heading towards the end of our podcast.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, we talked a lot. We talked for about over 70 minutes right now.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Uh, so traditionally, now, I'm not sure if I could call this a tradition, but our my podcast has a signature question that we ask our guests
Uh-huh.
at the end of the episode,
Hmm.
and the question is, what is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote. Oh, you should have prepared me for this.
Yeah, but if I could give you a heads up, 3 months ago you said it was this. We have like a pre questionnaire, and you wrote
Oh.
7,000 plus go like hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
that's
yeah, when I usually read these questionnaires for this question, I kind of get the sense of what they're saying, but this is the first time I read the quote and had literally zero idea of what it means. So you gotta have to elaborate on this.
I really like this. I really like this quote. So it's actually from a movie. Of course, in order to understand this, you definitely need a context, and it's only natural for you to, Binjeo, for you to not be able to understand this. So I get it. So this quote is actually from a movie, Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, the movie. Yeah, yeah, I didn't watch it, but I know
Yeah,
the movie. Yeah.
yeah. So it's kind of like a struggle of a Ford trying to beat Ferrari at a Le Mans 24, which is like the most prestigious like auto race competition in the world. It checks the car's speed, endurance, because it makes your car run actually 24 hours straight. That's why it's called Le Mans 24. So, in the scene, there's a scene where a Ford competes with a Ferrari, and but the the Ford headquarters didn't want the racer to um, push the car over 7,000 RPM,
Mhm.
right? But the coach, the director, the coach on during the race, and the racer wanted to push the car over 7,000 RPM because they thought the car could hold and they really
Mhm.
wanted to win. So the coach, which is played by Matt Damon, writes 7,000 plus go like hell on a chalkboard, and then he kind of shows that chalkboard to the
Oh,
racer, and then that's when the Ford started to go past Ferrari cars and at the end of the day win the race. And this is a very like emotional moment, like emotional high point of the movie. And I was really inspired. I really liked the movie, and I really like cars. I really like how the word 7,000 RPM plus, um, because if you, I don't think I don't know if you have seen like a like a car kegipan, but the RPM usually ends at the normal like production car ends at like 7, 8.
Seven?
Um, oh, 7,000.
Oh yeah, 7,000.
That's
Yeah.
7,000. But race cars, I think they have like higher RPM tolerance. So that's so that quote kind of like was very like it was it kind of like got it kind of like clinged on to me. And I really do believe in and I used that quote for me to like push myself. Like, okay, Sunghwa, 7,000 plus, 7,000 plus.
Mm.
Push yourself, you know, beyond 7,000 plus.
It was your
Because you
inner voice into going that one last mile in
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
career, your
You
life.
think that your limitation is 7,000 RPM, but then you can still push, plus beyond 7,000. And who knows, maybe you'll like win a Ferrari, or maybe you'll so the whole story is like a underdog being the Ford, beating Ferrari at a prestigious race, which is like a supercar maker, right? So I think I really like that quote, as in because it gives you like this extra boost for you to be able to go a extra mile, like you said, Young.
But it does have the implication that you do defy the conventions and the norms because the headquarters said not to go over 7,000, right?
Right,
But
right.
you broke that rule. So does it have
Yeah.
any nuance into like you wanting to fight traditional social norms and like push that limit? Does it have any
Oh,
implications
no,
for
no, I don't think oh no, I don't think I was like
that?
implying myself to like break social norms, but I think I do need to ignore some of the I mean, if you really want to master something, if you really want to like put a good work into it, I don't think it's there's a lot of people saying oh, relax, you know, don't kill yourself over it, right? Take a break. I mean, of course, many people do need this, and I sometimes need this kind of, embracing and, warm um, comments. But I think if you like really want to like master it, if you really want to like conquer it, um, I think you do need to kind of like ignore those
You have to ignore some of it, yeah.
yeah, some of it, and then really be crazy at it, like go
Hmm.
like hell, like the quote says,
Yeah.
7,000 plus, go like hell, and hell's not easy, hell's not easy. So if you really want to go crazy, you need to like of course definitely break some social norms, like oh, don't care, like don't sleep, don't sleep for 3 days. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes you have to be willing to do that. But that's not healthy. That's not a social norm, right?
Yeah. It could break the car as it
Yeah,
breaks
it could
your
break the car.
life, your
Yeah,
your
but
health.
sometimes don't sleep for 3 days. You may not go home for for a week. You may have to work 120 hours a week. That's hell. That's going like hell. That's not conventional. So in that sense, yes, sometimes you need to go unconventional to go like hell, break the limit. Yeah, so but nothing crazy like okay, burn down the house, no.
That's a very that's a great quote, and I think it speaks a lot about your character and like what kind of person you are. And
Yeah, yeah,
I really respect that. So yeah, thanks for
yeah.
sharing.
Hey, Hyung, have you ever shared your favorite quote in the podcast?
My favorite quote, I think I did. It
Oh,
was like 5 6 months ago, but my favorite quote is it's a it's a it's a passage from the Bible. I'm not a religious person, but I
mm,
just like that quote, and
mm.
uh, it goes like, wait a minute. I want to go with the quote unquote the exact words.
Yeah, sure.
So it's about accepting, like what you can change and what you can't.
Hmm.
So it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This is my favorite quote. Yeah, I think a lot of the unwanted stress and emotional difficulties derives from not accepting the reality and not understanding what you can't change. Because some things it's just uncontrollable. Like for instance, a very quick example could be, you wanted to have a nice outdoor activity with your friends, but it's raining. But some people just can't accept the fact that it rains, but you can't do anything about it, right? I mean, simple as
Right,
this,
no.
like a lot of, I think it really all boils down to accepting what you can change
Mm,
and what you can't. So
mm,
this is not like being cynical, like, oh, there are things you can't change. Just live within your fence, within your limits. It's not that. It's about understanding the difference and
mm,
actually focusing on what you can change. So
mm.
that's my favorite quote.
Oh, that's very deep, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think um I also have to I think I think that kind of like um also gives me a lot of thought because um as much as passion's important, as much as going 7,000 plus RPMs important, I think you need to be able to channel that passion into the things using your code, what we can change.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, I think that's very also important and kind of relates to me as well. Yeah.
You see
Yeah,
how
thank you.
we reconciled our two quotes and made it into one great wisdom.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
yeah. Exactly, exactly. That's wow, that's a beautiful thing happening.
is this the beauty in mergers and acquisition?
Exact, yeah. Yeah, circling back to your idea of, inviting all your guests, I think like we can have this like a mass table, circular table, having our own mic. And I think, doing like a mass podcast would be also fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually very excited to build up this podcast and see how it expands, it broadens. So yeah, really thankful
Yeah, I
for.
mean,
Mm,
yeah, th what you were saying.
yeah, I mean, like, I just want to use this opportunity to thank my previous guests and for you too, Songwa, to spend your time, your precious time into this humble podcast. So yeah,
Yeah, no, Bijal, Young, thank you for having me here. And ever since we talked about your podcast, I really wanted to be your guest, especially after listening to Cheo's podcast.
yeah,
I mean, we have we have this kind of conversation all the time, but I think like doing this in a more like official format, um, um, using a different language because we usually converse in Korean. I think that was like very interesting. It also kind of like you said, it also allowed me to kind of like um, organize my thoughts as we had this conversation. Um, I think that's the beauty of like documenting.
yeah. It's it's very fascinating to realize how this environment. I mean, like, it's really not that of a big setting. Like, we're just sitting in front of our computers with our headphones and our webcams and only speaking the different language that another language that we don't usually speak to each other. But it brings so much. It brings
Yeah,
out the deep thoughts and the things that you yourself didn't even think about. So this is why I enjoy podcasting and with friends that I love and I enjoy talking to. So yeah,
yeah,
it was a great experience. So, and one thing to point out, this is the longest podcast that I ever had with a guest.
really.
Yeah, I've actually never went over an hour, but it was just almost an hour and a half. So
Oh
great job,
wow.
Paula.
Yeah,
Record breaking episode.
there may be a lot of things that you need to edit out. The
Well,
viewers.
I'm gonna, I for sure. Like to be honest, I don't have anything to edit out in terms of the
Oh,
context, the content. I think everything is in flow. Uh, Only one thing to edit is the part where I spoke Korean just now. That's the only
that,
part. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, the listeners may not get the chance to hear him speak in Korean, but we did, from time to time speak in Korean. Of course, he's gonna edit that out. Of course.
yeah. Oh wait,
Yeah.
the trivial ones, like the little Koreans, I'm gonna leave that out. But
Uh-huh.
the one before when I like was finding the quote, the picture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
part is kind of idle. So
And Hyung, this is like a little recommendation for me. Like looking at you like face to face through a webcam. I think the viewers. I don't know if there's this feature in Google Podcast, but I think like also uploading like the screens, our
all the
faces, like
screens.
yeah, the recordings of our faces. I think that's like that may be more engaging, especially to
Mhm,
I don't
mhm.
know viewers who know us.
Yeah,
Just a little recommendation.
yeah. Thank you for that. I mean, I've taken that into consideration
Mm,
before, but uh, I know how it's more engaging if you see the actual faces and how it syncs with your movement of the mouth.
hmm.
But then there's another issue of going public and my face being disclosed
Oh,
to
okay. Yeah.
to the media. I mean, like this is not going to be like going to mass media, but anyway, it is going public, and showing
Right.
my face is actually a different matter. So I might have to put thought into that. But yeah, thank you for that. Your honest comment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you decide to do YouTube, maybe that may be a good time. But
Yeah,
of course, it's definitely up to you. I really like your podcast as is. So yeah.
I might like maybe in like 5 to 10 years when I actually want this to be a big part of my life. I mean, it is a
Mhm.
big part of my life right now, but a considerable part of my life. Maybe I might consider
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
for my
yeah.
face doing it. Not wearing these.
Yeah, I'm
Not
also
wearing
wearing like a housewear kind of like a
the real clothes.
yeah.
Thanks for that. So Songhwa, I think we have to wrap up. So it was outstanding as always, and thanks a ton for making the time to join us. I hope it was enjoyable experience for you too. And I wish you the best in all the activities, the things you do in your life. 100% support for what you do. And thank you for coming to the show.
No, no, it was my pleasure being here. And I know you've been busy for the past 6 months. I, I, I know that you've done a great job at BRV. So take care, Hyung. Rest a little bit. Do your podcast because I know this is your passion. I love it. You love it. So yeah, thank you for having me, Hyung.
Thank you too. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll bring you more guests with more content on the next one. Until then, stay tuned.